What's a surf shop? Nobody ever heard of one. There was no living to be made in surfing back then.
From the public point of view, they didn't seem to grasp it until maybe the 80s, and now it's entrenched in people's minds that surfing is an Irish sport as much as an international one.
When I first started surfing, I could really feel the energy of the waves. Jumping into the ocean, you really become alive. You can really feel that.
The amazing thing about Irish surfing is that you come back to Ireland and you realise the waves maybe are better than or as good as anywhere else in the world, along with the fact that there's nobody else surfing here.
I read in Reader's Digest about surfing in Hawaii, and there was a picture of a fellow riding probably a head-high wave, and this suddenly ignited my imagination because I always thought that to ride a wave you needed a gigantic wave, but here suddenly was somebody riding a wave that was no bigger than what I'd seen in Ireland on my holidays, and I felt like, heck, we've got just as good here. That was the inspiration that made me go out, start building little wooden boards because I hadn't much funds of my own, and eventually build up to a stage that I could get a fiberglass board and surf properly.
There was maybe a dozen people surfing here. Of strictly locals, there might have been about 4 or 5 people who actually lived in the area who were surfing. Well, there was none of them making a living out of it. It was a sport for them, but a lot of them did a lot of surfing. There was no living to be made in surfing back then. We have lots of professional surfers in the country now. There wasn't then.
The general public, when we did get going with boards, would kind of be on the side of the beach, and they'd say, "Oh, you're hard up having to do a thing like that." But as it grew in size, the attitude didn't move with it, because the attitude remained entrenched and people thought we were water skiers. That's not to say we didn't have contests before that and events that probably should have told the public that surfing was here to stay. But from the public point of view, they didn't seem to grasp it until maybe the 80s. Then with skateboarding and so much TV coverage, it began to slowly sink in, and now it's entrenched in people's minds that surfing is an Irish sport as much as an international one.
Those people came in, thought it was a betting office, tried to put money on horses and stuff. Because what's a surf shop? Nobody ever heard of one. Most people thought we were quite mad, including most members of my own family. They just thought I'd lost the plot totally. But it seemed like a good idea because of the fact that there wasn't any other surf shops anywhere around the country at all at the time.
An exhilarating sport. It's one of those ones that suits Ireland. It's lashing rain. This summer it was raining, windy every day, and there's 50 or 60 kids out in the water every day. Any other sport, golf, Anything else, you're stuck. I used to travel quite a lot for surfing. 15 years ago, guys would go, "Oh, you're Irish, I didn't know they had any surf there." And now it's, when you're traveling, you hear it, you know, people are saying, "Oh, Ireland, yeah, I hear there's really good waves there, up in Bundoran and Lahinch, they're the two spots, Cliffs and Moor." And there's a few pioneers here, like 4 or 5 guys that are really kind of pushing the limits around Ireland, and it's on a world scale. And, you know, I think Irish surfers are getting a lot more respect around from that.
Time I've had aside and watched it pass, torn apart by lies and wasted plans. All I think about is what they think. Maybe that's not the way. Maybe that's not the way.
Really meeting the forces of nature when you go into the ocean. You're meeting them head on, much like a skydiver would dive from a plane, and he gets the big lift from the rush from the air and the dropping experience. That person has got nothing but pure energy is what he's dealing with, and it's very much the same in the wave.
When I first started surfing, you know, I could really feel the energy of the waves. There is an energy there. There's this, not only the scene force of the waves coming in, but I could feel the energy on different days, and you can see it in a lot of surfers. There's a kind of a glow around them after they've had a good surf. Jumping into the ocean, really, you really become alive. You can really feel that.
Surfers maybe have a bit more laid back lifestyle, and whether that's in tune with nature, I guess the slower you go, the more opportunity you have to soak up what's going around you, I guess. And that's the problem with people who move so fast. They don't actually realize what's going on around them.
You're out on the ocean, you're lying on top of this water, and I love that. You know, not even necessarily catching the wave, but just lying there on the water, watching these sets come in. It kind of goes into your head, you know, and because our bodies are, 90% water or 95% or whatever it is, I guess we are, you know, connected like that, you know. You watch the ripples, the ripple goes out and goes out forever, you know. Touches someone else, and that's kind of beautiful.
college and you're stressed with study, or if you're working somewhere and you can't stand being there anymore, it's just lovely to know that you can just chuck a board in the car and just drive, and a few minutes later you'll be paddling out, sitting out in the sun setting. Like, some of the nicest memories I have are of maybe driving down to Lahinch real early on a Sunday morning, paddling out, and it's just gorgeous sunshine, and there's maybe about 2 or 3 other people sitting out, and you're just waiting around, and you're just like, this is heaven.
But I've been a bit gone out like 3 or 4 times in one day, a couple of times, and those times you know I'm in pain the next day, and you can tell I was sort of you know, just trying to push something away, kind of focus in on something, you know, and trying to ignore what's going on, and that's not a good thing. Like, now I realize, like, surfing is just, it's for fun. Having joy, you know, really, really is important.
You do get a lot of surf addicts, people who surfing is what they do and surfing is who they are. And I guess I would have previously had that, you know, who am I? My answer is I'm a surfer. You know, this is what, you know, it's their purpose. I guess it's their everything, and I guess that's natural, because, you know, I would believe that we are worshippers. We're all looking for something to pour our lives, our identity, our everything into, and, you know, if we can't, you know, I guess people think surfing, why not pour my life into this? So I think that's what happens.
When I became a surfer, it sort of tied in when I became a Christian as well. I was going through a lot in my life as my father passed. It split up with my wife. So I surfed as a way of it was very healing for me, you know. The waves it was like they were washing away sort of hurts and pains and stuff like that, and you know, always brought in something new with each wave coming in. It was always something new, and it was like a new hobby, something else to channel my energy into.
For me, like, it's the whole surfing itself, like actually going out in the freezing cold, and you might be out there for 2 hours and you get one good wave and it just makes your day. Like, you know, and there's so much paddling out and waiting and getting your head smashed over by waves and stuff, but if you just get 1 or 2 really good rides, then you just remember that for the whole day.
It fills in any areas that I failed in. When I go out in the sea and catch a wave or 2, it actually means that things that went wrong in your daily life or your weekly life or whatever don't seem to matter quite so much, because you've achieved something else that nobody else around has done. Because the minute I hit the sea and paddle out, I'm just doing what's naturally suited to my body and mind, and I feel just great after it.
Don't fade to nothing.
We got up this morning like 6:30 and went to go for a surf, and there wasn't much happening with the like waves, and it was flipping freezing, like there was ice, but it was just even the stillness of the morning and how there's nobody else around, and the moon was still in the sky and you could see the moon reflecting off the sea and the birds kind of flapping around, and the waves crashing up and there's nobody else, and it's just, even it's worth it for that alone. Like, even if you don't get to get out, I think anyway, it's so great to be by the sea. Like,
plenty more wintry weather across the country.
Rain may turn to snow later on this afternoon.
All the falls of sleet and snow.
Some very heavy rain across southern counties. Temperatures only reaching 1 to 5 degrees at best.
I lived in Australia for many years, and the beaches there, you can tend to be a bit more lazier. Here, you know, you got to be on your guard, and the coldness does keep you on your toes.
I suppose Irish people are just, I think definitely they've been toughened to this like Baltic weather at some points, and most of those times you still get up and you still push yourself and you go out, because you know once you get out, if you do get a good wave, it's worth all that cold, getting through the cold, and I suppose it makes you tougher.
Having travelled all around the world looking for perfect waves, the amazing thing about Irish surfing is that you come back to Ireland and you realise the waves maybe are better than or as good as anywhere else in the world, along with the fact that there's nobody else surfing here on the best days in the middle of winter. So that's the dream about Irish surfing that keeps people going all the way through winter searching for waves.
For me, it's the other days. It's the days when you're just sitting out the back, beautiful evenings, sunset, and there's 20 or 30 people in the water, everybody enjoying themselves, nearly everybody knows each other. It's more kind of autumn, winter time. It's nearly a local vibe, you know, a lot of local guys. I wouldn't even know their names, you just know them to nod at and stuff when you're out there having fun and cheering each other on and calling us into waves and things like that. But even 15 years ago, there wouldn't have been, 10 years ago, there wouldn't have been 30 locals, and now there is, which is quite nice.
I think because surfing is so new in Ireland, in a lot of respects, there's a new generation of surfers. You know, if you can go to a surf break in the middle of County Mayo, for example, and in the middle of winter, and you could have surfers there from Waterford, Cork, Kerry, Clare, Sligo, Donegal. So there is camaraderie there, because it's a new thing. It's and just the relationships are new.
I guess Ireland, the whole social thing of Ireland is the pub, isn't it? Like, you know, you eat out in the pub. We're here, I go out surfing and hey, there's the lads out surfing now. It's lovely, like, you know, it's a lot healthier. Even if there might be a little bit of aggro fighting over a wave, but you know, all is forgiven, I hope.
It's so extreme the way they take it in some places as something macho or competitive or just really like aggressive or something, whereas here I've never come across anything like that.
The East Coast does generate waves, but on a much shorter period of time than on the West Coast. And those who live in the East will be ready to get up and run at the first opportunity that the wind blows in the right direction and gives us a wave. I'd maybe slide the board in the car the night before, and on the way and straight coming from work, I'd go straight off to the beach and catch the wave. Then I can be home for tea and be like a normal person, but have had that experience during the daylight.
Anywhere in Ireland, really, you're never too far to drive for a surf, especially like where we are in the west. It's just, you're so close to these fantastic waves, and it's just cool because there's even a load of waves that are only just being kind of discovered now as well. Offshore breaks that are like big wave surfers that are going out to do. It's really cool to hear about these things because you're kind of like, wow, there's still undiscovered things about Ireland.
I guess the sole purpose I came to the West Coast is because it's so much more exposed to the elements and it picks up a lot more swell. There's probably as much swell here on the West Coast of Ireland than there is anywhere else in the world. So that's the big draw to the west. It's the remote side of Ireland, but it's also the side that has all the waves.
I can't think of anywhere else in the world even that I'd prefer to live than the West Coast. Like, there's just something mystic or kind of really Celtic-y or kind of something amazing about it. Like, if you look at it any time of the year, if you go down to Clare or Kerry or somewhere where it's lashing raining and the sea is like churning and turmoil, it's just still beautiful and gorgeous no matter what the weather's like. And then on a sunny day, it's paradise, you know, so it's just something beautiful.
One of the best parts about surfing is you go with a friend. Let's say you travel 3 or 4 hours with a friend, you're in a van, you get out and you get to surf together. And in the middle of winter especially, you get to drive home. It's freezing cold, you're getting warm, and that's the real one of the big draw cards for Ireland, is that because it is so remote and it is so cold in the middle of winter, to get a glimpse of perfection, a glimpse of beauty in the waves. So that's really cool.
So it seems like